Be sure to stay tuned in this video to find out about a very special challenge that I have for you. Hello and welcome to Just Vintage Crochet. It is coming up to the end of the year and we have 4 patterns left in our mystery pattern bowl. So I thought we would make them all this month. Let's just finish the bowl and start into the new year with some fresh new patterns. So if you're new to the channel, we do mystery videos here on occasion. We have a bunch of numbers in the bowl. We pick a number, we work the pattern, it matches. The pattern has no title for us to see, no picture for us to reference, and anything within the pattern that could possibly give it away has been blacked out. I did not pick these patterns. These patterns were picked and blacked out for me so that it is a total mystery. I just work the text. Let's pick our first pattern. What do we have? Oh, isn't that fitting? Oh, that's it. That's our last 1840s pattern, you guys, from this whole year. So here we go. We need to make it says here worked in plain double crochet. That's going to be single crochet. With 8 thread, I can never pronounce this, but I now understand what it is thanks to so many of you. Make a chain of 78 loops, join the ends. We're working in the round. So this is a sport weight size and a 3.5 millimeter hook. So that's what I'm gonna go with. I was gifted these by a viewer, so I have 3 of them. So these are what I am going to be working with. So let's move on with the rest of the pattern. Now I have my material that I will be using. Okay, so it says here, make a chain of 78 loops, join the ends, and work 24 rounds. Oh, now we are talking about rounds. Okay, 24 rounds in plain double crochet, which is single crochet. But instead of working the last stitch of the 24th row, make 2 chain stitches, cut off the wool, and run the end in at the back, which graduates the termination of the row for the piece to fold over the top. I'm going to have to come back to that. For now, let's work 24 rows because it says the last stitch of the 24th row. So for now, let's work 24 rounds, and when we get to this point, we'll look more into what that means. So for now, let's go ahead and join. Okay. And we're going to work 24 rounds of single crochet. I'm going to start with a chain 1 and into my joining stitch. I'm just going to start working single crochet all around. It doesn't say to join at the end of every round. Make 2 chains, cut off the wool, and run in, which graduates the termination of the last row. Interesting. So it doesn't say to join at the end of every round, so I'm not sure if we are working a continuous round or if we need to. I'll be right back. Let me work these single crochet and I will try to come up with the best idea. Okay, so the dilemma here is, do we join or work in a continuous round? Part of me wants to work in a continuous round just because patterns from this era always seemed to want to work out that way. And I think this isn't going to be any different. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a stitch marker so that I can keep track of my beginning and end. And I'm just going to work 24 rounds, now 23 more rounds in a continuous round. And I'm going to work in the back loop only because they typically worked their single crochets in the back loop, unless they directed otherwise. So here we go. 23 more rounds of single crochet worked in a continuous round is what I'm doing. I will be back whenever I have that all done, and we're going to finish the 24th row in a unique way. But instead of working the last stitch of the 24th row, make 2 chain stitches. Cut off the wool and run the end in at the back, which graduates the termination of the row. Make 2 chain stitches. Okay, we'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, so on my 24th row now, I have 1 stitch left unworked, and I was reading this to try, you know, you guys can sometimes comprehend these things faster than I can. I do my best. It says, instead of working the last stitch of the 24th row, make 2 chain stitches, cut off the wool and run in the end at the back, which graduates the termination of the row. And I think I know exactly what they mean by this, and it makes me feel even more confident that we were meant to work in a continuous round and not join every round. So here's what I think it means. Chain 2, cut, move my stitch marker, and then whenever I, as they call it, run in, but I think that's in modern terms just weave in through the back. Thing is, I don't have very well. I guess I can weave it in here. Do I want to start down here? I'll start over here on this side. Now let's just see how that looks. Went too far over. Maybe I go down instead. Yeah. It doesn't look like a gradual runoff when I go straight down. I'm trying, but I think that's what they mean. Maybe I went up too or down too low. I don't know. Maybe no, because that would just, I don't know. The art of the weave-in. Yeah, it's not that gradual. The way I like to make mine look gradual is I would have just worked a slip stitch into the last stitch and then gone from there, you know, a slip stitch like this. And then that would look, I think, more gradual. But I'm not going to do that because it doesn't say to do that in the pattern. So I'm just going to leave this hanging out here willy-nilly for now. I will deal with it later. I think if I can get away with that, I'm not sure. For the piece to fold over the top, surely we're not making a hat. It's a little small for a hat. I don't know. Miss the stitch that was left unworked. So this is my unworked stitch right here. Miss the stitch that was left unworked in the last round. Commence on the next and crochet a row of 39 stitches. Draw the end through the last loop. Draw the end through the last loop. Maybe this end here? Maybe? No, it said to weave it in. Instead of working, make 2 chain stitches. Cut off the wool and run the end in at the back, which graduates the termination of the row. You know, I'm just gonna, maybe this way? No, absolutely not. Okay, I'm just gonna run in the end at the back. And it isn't really gonna look gradual, but that may just be my lack of technique. It's not the most gradual, but it will do. And that isn't me being judgy, just personal preference, you know? Okay. All right, so we're going to skip the stitch that we missed, which again is going to be right here. And crochet a row of 39 stitches. Okay. So do I go, it said to miss the stitch, so am I going to start the stitch after, or does it want me to start the stitch before and just skip over it? Maybe creating a hole? I don't know. I kind of want to start the stitch after. It doesn't miss the stitch that was left unworked in the last round. Commence on the next. And okay. Okay. I think I'm just supposed to start here. I think. That's all I can do is kind of guess with these older patterns. And let's work 39 stitches. Oh, I split that. Okay, so I'm going to work 39 stitches, skipping the last stitch and then rejoining here and working 39 stitches. We will see what happens. I don't know if I was supposed, I don't know. All right, that's 1, 2, and 3. I will be right back. I don't know. Okay, so here are the 39 stitches. I did run this tail through 1 stitch in the back. I think what this means is we cut and weave in the end at the end of every row. I think. My thing is, though, if I'm supposed to cut at the end of every row and it says to work over the top of the tail, from this way, that doesn't make sense because the tail is going to be on this side. You can only do that if you turn, unless you pull your tail over and work over the top of it, which is, I mean, you could do that. I guess that's what I need to do. It's the only thing I can think of. It's the only thing I can think of. Draw the end through the last loop and leave about 1 inch of the wool, which must be worked over in the next row. The same to be observed in commencing rows. Well, yeah, I mean, I can't turn and work or else it would create a ribbing. So, because of the back loop only aspect. So I guess that's what I need to do then. Nope, that's way more than 1 inch. That's still more than 1 inch, but it's fine. Don't come for me for that, please. Okay, do I just start 2 stitches over, I wonder? Decreasing, I don't know. I'm like so afraid to mess up. I used to be able to just make these work, but I think that upsets people whenever I do that. So I'm trying to stick literal to the pattern. So yeah, I'm just going to start 2 stitches over. Okay, so I'm going to work this over to the other end. I'm skipping the last 2 stitches, although I have a tail to work in over there, so yeah, I'll work it in. I'll be right back. So worked my way over to the other end, and I'm just going to bring this end over, and I mean, there's going to be a weird looking thing. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I'm sorry. I don't know. I used to feel a lot more confident with my work, and now I don't. I so badly just want to make it work. There's going to be an ugly, weird string hanging over. Yeah, because this is easy. No, this isn't. This is fine. I hate everything about what I'm doing right now. This is so aggravating. I'm trying to be as literal as possible to the pattern. One more. Okay, that looks stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so because I reached a point in the pattern where my brain just couldn't comprehend, please don't judge if you were able to, and I wasn't. I am just making it work. So instead of cutting, I'm also making sure to include back loops on occasion just to keep the pattern looking correct-ish. So what I'm doing is I'm slip stitching over the first 2 stitches of each round just because I want this step look to look consistent on both sides. Whenever I'm working on the inside panel, I'm just working through both loops because I don't want to create a ribbing. And then whenever I work on the outside of the fold, I work the back loop. That way it still creates kind of a back loop effect. It don't look anything like this one, but it's still creating a back loop effect. So that's what I'm going to do until I have 7 loops or 7 stitches left, or I think that's what it said. Till you have only 7 stitches. Then crochet 2 more rows, excuse me, 2 more rows, decreasing only 1 at each end, which brings it to 3 stitches. Run the end in and crochet up the bottom. I think this says bag. I'm convinced this is like a clutch style or a wallet style bag, and line it with glazed calico. So that is what I'm going to do over and over. There's nothing wrong with making a pattern work whenever you reach a point of just lack of comprehension. I'm not blaming the pattern. I'm obviously blaming myself here. But when you do reach a point in a pattern that's like that and you can think of a way to make it work, I think it's allowed and okay to do that. I just don't want anyone to get upset with me. So I just wanted to show you my process of working this out to make it work for me. Then without chaining, I just turn. Now that was the back loop row, and I'm going to slip stitch into the first 2 stitches. I don't like to chain 1 before turning on this because I want to create less bulk on the end. And this is the row I'm going to work the full stitch. So I'm just going to work single crochets to the end, almost the end. I omit the last 2 stitches, which are slip stitches from the previous row. Okay, and then there are my 2 slip stitches from the previous row, and then I just repeat. Without chaining, I turn, slip stitch into the first 2 stitches. Now this is my back loop row. So here I will work my back loops. And so that's what I have been doing. So I will be back whenever I have 7 stitches left. Now I'm at the point where I just need to reduce 1 on each end. So 1 here, and I'm going to work 1, 2. I'll be, oh, sorry. I'll be right back. So with these ones here, since I'm only skipping 1 stitch, I don't worry about working the slip stitch. I just jump right over it. And 1, 2, 3. I'm going to skip the last stitch. I now have 3 left. And so that's where it said to end it. And I've got some things to trim off. Okay, and I've got some tails to weave in. And now I need to sew up the bottom, but oh, here's some peach from the last. I can just stitch up with the peach. That way it's not super dark. It's the same yarn. It's just a little bit of what was left over. Okay, so I'm going to turn this inside out and just go ahead and do a quick stitch job on the bottom. I'm just going to whip stitch it shut. So I will be right back. Okay, so here is what I think it is. It said to put a loop on the end and put a button, but I'm going to forego that for right now. So I didn't make a cord. Let's unmask this vandal, Scooby-Doo. Useful. Okay. I'm sure it's going to be a useful bag. Won't. Don't tear. Okay, bag. Carriage bag. Useful carriage bag. I bet this was meant to be made a heck of a lot bigger than I made it. When they said work with a full-size crochet hook, I'm dying to know what that looks like. Useful carriage bag. So, okay. I think I made it too small then, but I like it. I like it for what it is. It's very neat. It's like a little, at this size, it's like a little envelope or clutch bag. It's okay. It's okay. There we go. I'm not the biggest fan of the flap, but then again, that is user error, you know? That's not the pattern. I wish that in this book they had pictures. There is no picture to this. So that is what I made. Now, I would like to present you guys with a challenge, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I have been working mystery patterns, some successful, some frustratingly not. Like today's, for example, I got a little frustrated with myself. But we've been working mystery patterns. We've been working a lot of antique crochet. We're getting a lot more familiar with the stitch terms and whatnot. So now that it is the end of the year, I've been doing this for about 9 months now. I challenge you all to your own mystery pattern, which I will present to you. Okay. I won't tell you. I will tell you the year of the pattern is 1885. It's not super complicated, but what can make it complicated, obviously, is going to be the wording of the pattern. So, first things first, you can pause the screen here, and here are the stitch terms that you will need with their described definitions. Okay, so these came out of the same book as the pattern. So the stitch terms you see here are the stitch terms that will be used in the pattern. Not all of them, but whichever ones apply. Okay, and here is your pattern. So what I want you guys to do is work out this pattern and then email me your results. And I'm going to make a video showcasing the pictures of all of your guys' results. You be sure to let me know. Do you want me to use your name, a screen name, just your first name, initial, or no identification of any kind? Just simply want to present your photo. And let's see how everybody's pattern stacks up. I do have, this pattern does have a picture. So I will be able to show you what it's meant to look like and how different yours looks from the picture, if at all, how different yours looks from everybody else's, and vice versa, if at all. And that way it's not just me. I guess I'm roping you guys in too. That way it's not just me, it's all of us with our own interpretations of these patterns and how our brains comprehend and translate these words. So go ahead and do that. Pause the screen and work your mystery pattern, and then email me. The email will be down below, and I can't wait to put this video together compiled with all of your wonderful, wonderful pictures. I am hoping that I can have this out in 1 week from today. So you guys have 1 week from today to work on your mystery pattern and get me the emails, okay? So work on your mystery patterns, have them ready for me by the 17th, and I will put all the pictures together, and by the 19th, we'll compile all of the results together, the pictures together, and by the 19th, you guys will see the video. Okay, so that's going to be 7 days from today. This video is going up December 10th, 2023. By December 17th, 2023, that's it. I won't take any more photos after that day. So I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I'm super excited about this. So that's going to be it for today's mystery pattern. I have another mystery pattern. Hopefully I will get a lot less frustrated with myself in that one. But yeah, I guess I got a little short patiented. That's not even a word. That's not even a phrase. That's not even the English language. I had very short patience with myself this time. So let me get over myself a little bit and hopefully have a better, more successful mystery pattern coming up, because now we have 3 more to work. Okay, guys, I will see you real soon. Bye.